What's up, everybody? You know it. Bshawts back at you again with another live stream. And today we're doing something completely different from the norm. Yes, we are essentially, excuse me, my allergies are acting up. We're doing something different. And by that, what do I mean? I'm going to be talking about my honest thoughts and opinions of the finals. I'm going to give a ranking to the finals as well whenever the time comes by the end of the stream. Just so you guys know, I'm going to be ranking it 1 out of 10. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure to stick around until the end. And I'm going to have an open discussion with y'all, the chat, just so we can kind of discuss stuff about the finals, because I know there's been people chatting about it recently about the game not doing as good. And I just have a few different points and stuff that I'm going to go over, and it's just going to be a good time. So no gameplay today, but it's just going to be us chatting about the finals. Seth, thanks for stopping by today, man. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I appreciate you for tuning in today. And as always, you are the best around. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. Just sharing my link, sir, and I will be in it. We're about to do some fun stuff. We're about to talk about some really cool stuff, honestly, because I know a lot of people are going to probably rank it lowly, and some people might rank it a little bit on the higher end of the scale. Honestly, I'm actually excited to see y'all's reaction to my rating for it. So, the finals. For people who are familiar with the finals, you already know it's a free-to-play FPS shooter game with like mass destruction, tons of different gadgets, 3 different classes, the light, the medium, and the heavy, which, are obviously all good classes, depending on if you're good with them and you have a good skill set. And the other thing about it is, if you've never tried it, it's definitely a unique experience. It's not like your typical Call of Duty or Apex, Fortnite, where you're just going and getting kills and so on and so forth. It's more focused on objective, like Overwatch, if you've ever played that, or maybe Rainbow Six Siege. Some people have compared it to. So, yeah. And, let's get into it. So, my very first thing I want to say about the finals is that I want to say that it creates such a unique experience with gadgets and the way that you can diversify your gameplay by being innovative, yes, that's the word, in the way that like you can use goo to block off certain things or CC someone, or use the data reshaper to essentially block rockets, which I've just seen recently, which is awesome, or dematerialize through certain walls to get angles, and using your team to essentially leverage certain fights. It's just cool. It's fun. It's a good time overall. And I think that then will lead into, with all the gadgets, I think they're encouraging a type of gameplay style where the gadgets, they want to have counterplay to these gadgets, which makes it fun. It's like a rock, paper, scissors styled gameplay. And if you're playing in the casual modes, like quick play, which personally I play in quite a bit, if you're going to be doing that, it's really awesome, because if somebody runs fire, you can go and run a smoke build to cancel it out, Or if somebody's running I'm trying to think, gas, if someone has fire, it puts it out. So it's just one of those things where it's nice to have that, like, the ability to counter certain kits. And then in ranked, you're really having to decide what's important to bring, because you might not be able to counter those sets whenever you're in game, because you can't change your loadout when you're actually in the match. So I always find that to be really fascinating, which really encourages a different type of ranked playstyle, which I think is maybe leaned more into a meta game style. So that's definitely one thing that some people haven't been a fan of, is the meta. Just because it's just like one set gun you use, or 2 guns you use, and then the same gadgets. And it's not really fun for people who want to be able to push outside of that meta and still play competitively. But I think they're bringing balance changes and so on and so forth to the game, which makes it a super, super great time. That what I like about Siege, there's always something counter and a specific character. Exactly. And so counterplay is super, super important, I think, in newer games, because that will strategically entice the player to think outside the box. And that's what makes each experience when you're playing different versus same map. It's going to be going in and doing that type of madness and so on and so forth. So it's just kind of one of those types of situations. And then one other thing I really like about the game is the skins and animations. Like, the devs really did a great job with their skins, how they've laid out the different gun skins, the different gadget skins, stickers, emotes, they're definitely doing a really, really good job. And especially for only being season 2, they've added so much. Now, there's not a lot of free stuff, but it's also a free to play game. They have to have a way to support their game. So, of course, they're going to have microtransactions, which they are a little expensive. But on the other end, if you do purchase them, you do get a majority of your multi-bucks back, depending on if you buy the starter pack and or some other packs that they offer, like the Easter Bunny pack that they offered just a couple weeks ago, which is really dope. Or if you get the battle pass, you get more back than what you put in, which is really cool because a lot of games nowadays you don't even get enough back for the next battle pass, which is kind of lame in my opinion. So that's a couple pros. Let's dip into some cons real quick. Let's talk about some cons to the game. So I think ranked definitely needs some tweaking, right? We could probably all talk about that, just because of the fact that ranked kind of has this weird situation going on where things are just they don't feel balanced in some people's eyes, and I know they're making some adjustments and so on and so forth. So I'm excited to see where they're going to go in the future with that. And with their newest update, some of the community was discouraged because we didn't necessarily get too much out of this other than just a like a nerf to the light, which was a slight nerf. It was like a little tickle nerf right now, but they do speculate that they will be changing it in the future update. So we do have to see what they're going to be doing. Now, I think the way that they activated the cost for cloaking device just makes it a little bit fairer for newer players, which is good. I think we need that. Like, we need to make it to where newer players can play the game and still enjoy to play the game versus getting cheesed out of the game. Because people who play the game and good, they're going to cheese people out because they're just enjoying cheesing people. By cheese, I mean like, invis stun gun, insta delete somebody, and they're like, what just happened? And there's no counterplay to that. You know what I mean? So I think that's one thing where they can add a little bit more counterplay. I think the stun gun should only be as long as like the stun on maybe goo, maybe a little bit longer, maybe an extra second or two longer, but not too much. But I do think that the finals has a great future ahead of it with the future updates to come. I think this was just our weekly update of patches, our weekly update of balance changes, as well as it looks like security changes as well, which security changes are always really, really good because, I know people have been talking about cheaters and hackers in their higher tier lobbies and ranked, and that's no fun in general. So that's one thing that I think I really excited to see is if they can go and really nip that in the butt with their hackers and cheaters and maybe even like start showing a ban list of people they're banning who are cheating. That'll encourage more players to get back into the game. Now, I'll say this. I was discouraged with the players in general, like just dwindling. I thought that the game was going to be in a place where it's just like, wow, this is so tough. Like the game's going to die, so on and so forth. But I was looking at Steam charts, right? Now, Steam charts, it might be a little bit difficult to see, but right now our 17-hour peak is 17K. Playing right now in the last hour is 16,000 people, right? That's not too bad for like a normal live service game. What's up, bro? Welcome. We're just chatting about the finals today. For a live service game, I think 16K people is great. It's a good thriving game. But you look at these metrics, you see that's decreasing. And that's what all these videos on YouTube are about, are people, doom spreading the fact that the game's dying, so on and so forth, right? But you also have to keep into account, hey, you're going to Diamond. Let's go, sir. I just got Plat 4 yesterday. Little sidebar. It's super dope. I wish you luck on that journey. It is a tough journey, but you'll get there. You just got to give it your best shot. But the one thing, back to my point, with the finals is that this is just Steam. There's console that they play on, right? So if we go and look at the actual console players and we're looking at monthly gain and loss, like, yeah, we're technically losing players overall, our average monthly players, but our daily players recently have increased since the Season 2 launch. March 2024 was a little bit lower, but 618,000 players per day is not bad. Now, if you want to get my sources, we're on activeplayers.io, the finals, for that information, where they pull that information. We'll even just refresh the page, see if this changes at all, just to see if it's good. And Rahul, you're in silver. Hey, man, all you have to do is play smart. Now, I don't actually know if this source is very accurate, but the point being is that, like, there are a handful of players who are playing on console that we need to consider when we're looking at the game stats, right? But yeah, when you're playing Silver, sir, focus on your teams, your positioning, and playing well. And that's all you could typically do, and then hopefully just rank up. And typically the better people we play against, the more you'll rank up, so just keep that in mind. So this was a concerning metric for me, seeing that the finals has a player count that has been dwindling, especially from when it launched back in December 2023, when it was at like 200,000 players. But that's also the other thing where people were giving the game a shot. They didn't know what it was. So of course you're going to have this influx of players, and then you're going to kind of dwindle out until you find like your base player line, which is about 20K. And then as of lately, we've kind of dwindled below our 20K line, but I also think that's a matter of just there's been a lot of other games coming out that are equally as beneficial to the players. And by that, I mean, they give a good value for the time played. And the finals right now, the game loop, a lot of people say is repetitive, and it is. And I feel like if they add maybe some new gameplay loop elements to make the game a little bit more intriguing, maybe some limited time modes, making custom games a little bit more diverse and having more features in that, I think it's going to be an awesome, those could be awesome additions to help push the game in good directions. Hey, what's up, Kit? Man, I hate having bad Wi-Fi. I hope that it can get fixed soon. It's all good. It's all good. Maybe you just got to go and get a hotspot going, man. Hotspots are the best, you know? But I hope you're having a fantastic day. We're just chilling, talking about the finals today. Got Plat 3 last night. Dude, let's go! Kit, what's up, bro? I got Plat 4, you got Plat 3. We got to play. We got to play sometime. And we got to rank up. Like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing? And for anybody who is interested, we are doing custom games later this afternoon at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you guys are interested in doing that, definitely come check it out. It's going to be on Crimison's channel. I will be helping co-host with that. I won't be streaming, but it'll be there recording and so on and so forth. So if you guys are interested in that, definitely come check that out. It's going to be such a blast. I'm going to have such a good time just being able to play those games. And if you haven't seen on my Discord server or in his community post or my community post that I'll be making soon, we will be doing sword only, 1v1s, as well as hide and seek. Super, super fun. If you guys haven't played that before, super, super great. And I think this game has a lot of promising future as far as those modes go, especially if they give us more options in those custom games. Now, I'm going to be honest. If you guys 1v1, whoever wins, we're going to do a tourney. Whoever wins 1v1, you get a title in my Discord of the 1v1 champ. Just saying. So, and I think if we do it like on a weekly basis, it'll be cool to change who the champion is or see if the champion stays the same to see if someone has like some reigning, you know, stuff. Hey, what's up, Vincent? What's up, my dude? Welcome, welcome. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Hope you're having a fantastic day. And you guys know, always give it your best shot. Just chatting about the finals and just the general nature of it, the future of it, pros, cons, the nitty gritty, and the rating. And at the end of this live stream, I will be talking about my rating and how I feel about the finals, which if you're interested in that, definitely stick around for that. But the other thing I want to talk about, so with the players kind of dwindling a little bit, it's still a very successful game. I mean, 16, let's say 20,000 players a day is still quite a bit, y'all. Like, keep that in mind. That's a lot of players. Now, the only other thing that you want to keep in mind is that if they add this game mode right here, I'm about to play it. I don't want to get a copyright striked at all, just because I'm watching somebody else's video on YouTube. You guys know how it is. But I'm just gonna get some screenshots right here. It looks like right here that there may be a new mode that they're gonna be adding, and I think this could be a really promising future for the finals. What do I mean by that? Well, I think that the different game modes will offer more variety for the players who are currently playing it, and it'll also encourage newer players or people who don't know about the game to come into the game because they might not like that current playstyle of the game, which is totally fair. Now, some people argue that this could be a search and destroy style game mode because it looks like maybe a search and destroy styled canister. And if you pull back more, you can see more people are defending it, which might be like a 5v5 search mode, maybe. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm not sure. I think it'll be really cool because I know Rainbow Six is pushing into that really hard right now and getting a lot of publicity. If they push into that and do their own take on it, I think it could be really cool, especially with the objective-based gameplay of this, you know? So that's definitely one thing that I'm excited for. But I also had someone suggest Prop Hunt. They said Prop Hunt could be a game mode for it. And I was like, that's interesting. Prop Hunt would be I think if they had a Prop Hunt, I'd be playing that all the time, I'll be honest. Especially if you're getting like XP and stuff. The only thing is you just don't get XP for like your weapons and gadgets and so on and so forth. But it would be intriguing if they had a way to do that. Now, it makes sense if that's going to take time for them to create right? Because at the end of the day, it makes sense that like that type of game mode would take time. You don't have a big team. It's going to take time to make sure that everything balances out and feels nice, right? And I think that's definitely like one thing we want to make sure that we're keeping in mind whenever we're criticizing the finals is that Embark Studio specifically is that like they have a small studio. They are making good headway with their updates. Some of them might not be the best, but like they're updating weekly, which very few games that are $70 are even doing. So I think they're doing a great job. They're also talking to the community too, which is huge. I think that'll be really, really huge. Now, I went full metal last night. Triple medium, FCAR, heel beam, APS, defib, jump pad, 1, 2 to 3 turnies. Yeah, so I'll be honest, I had to do the same. I had to switch to the meta kit, but it worked. Meta works. The new mode is needed so bad. I think the new mode plus some advertising, like plus a marketing strategy, could be a very, very intriguing thing for them to do because it'll maybe pull some new players into the game as well as making some of the players who currently play the game talk about the game and bring in some of their friends. Because I know I've invited some friends who are like, no, I'm just not playing it. And it's just like, understood. And I don't want to push them into it. So if they add some new modes that they're interested in, they may be more willing to play games, which would be cool. And I know that's what a lot of people want is they want more people to play the game. And now looking at that website earlier, it showed that like they have a like a really good amount of players currently, 618,000. I don't know how accurate that is. And that's per day. That's probably with console players. So I'm not sure like cuz 618,000 is not bad, y'all. You know, but that's definitely them trying to probably pull data from PS5 as well as Xbox One, which can be difficult to do. So just something to keep in mind that might not be super accurate. Now, I think the new game mode will be whoever holds the computer the longest wins. So it's basically like a capture the point, where there's a particular objective that you need to hold the area of. It doesn't move, but maybe once you capture it for a certain period of time, like a minute, it moves locations on the map. And it's basically like a vault, but it's not a vault. It's like it's a computer that maybe you're hacking or creating a virus or something for CNS. That would actually be kind of cool. You know, and they have some really good lore in this game as well to add to more of the pros. I think the game does a fantastic job with lore and what they're building, and their aesthetics are wild, absolutely wild. Excuse me. But yeah, the hacker theme. So maybe whoever hacks the computer the longest. So that's kind of a really good like perspective because I don't think I'll say this. I don't think they're going to be stealing any game modes from other games. They're going to be creating their own game modes. So you're right. Having like a hacker styled game mode where people are able to hack a certain point would be kind of interesting. I think the one thing that the finals really has is this draw on like bringing your adrenaline to that last like minute of the game where it's like, are we going to make it? Are we going to get to the finals? Like, are we going to get there? Really getting your heartbeat raised and really helping influence you in that way to make you feel like you're gonna either win it or lose it, which I think a lot of games don't necessarily do anymore. At least for me, and the finals has done that quite a bit. And I think with newer modes and stuff, it'll definitely add that feeling and being able to add more features to custom games so we can tweak and make more content. I think allowing for more people to make content would be beneficial, especially more creative options. Right now, I don't want people dumping low quality content for the finals. Some people are, unfortunately. I'm not going to name who, but it's okay. You know, some people make really, really good high end content, and you just watch those people because those people are awesome. They're actually giving really good value versus people who are just uploading blanket gameplay, and it's like, man, you're just littering the YouTube in the space with like these videos that aren't really good, and then people aren't going to be interested in the game. We got to make things that are interesting that people are like drawn to. You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of like one of the biggest things is just making it to where people are wanting to share the content. You know, maybe that's why like maybe the new mode can offer a gameplay like a win kill cam type thing where when at the end of the game whoever had the best play on the winning team is showcased. That'd be kind of cool, or the best play overall, and maybe it's from like a third person perspective since you're in a game show or something. And that's the other thing is they get to push into this whole game show experience, which is really, really fascinating. No other game I think has the ability to push into a game show. So they could really diversify what they do. The next map we get could be like something completely different. Like, and I'm excited for that. I'm really excited for that because that could be something that's people won't be expecting it. And I'm wondering if like we're going into like this, we got hacked, then we're gonna get like security. I wonder what like the next step will be. It would be cool if it was like maybe a prison facility or like a warehouse facility maybe. I don't know. I just want new things to do, something new. Starting to get boring using the same metas and the same game modes. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's it. Is that the game loop has essentially been the same since the game has released. It's the same few guns at top. Nothing's really changed other than nukes have been completely nerfed to the ground. And I'm also interested to see if the data reshaper buff that they just added in this newest patch will actually benefit us more than we think. Because if you look at it, they added an extra 10 meters to it. And if you guys haven't seen Razor on YouTube, he was able to deflect people's RPGs that they were shooting at him. That was sick, which I think that can add another level of gameplay. But it's just a matter of balancing, you know? It's their brand new studio. They're just trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? And that just, I think, takes time. So it's just one of those things to keep in mind with these newer games. That it's just going to take time, and it's gonna boil down to like what we give and take. You know what I mean? If we give it good energy, it'll be good. If we give it bad energy, it will probably do bad. So just gotta give good energy to it and maybe make some fun, creative, positive content for it. You know, and some people might not, but that other content could be good. It's just a matter of giving it good publicity. You know what I mean? Facts lore in the game builds it up for me, and yes, the graphics are so smooth even on my Xbox. And see, isn't that dope? I think that's the one thing people don't realize, that have older consoles, they can't play it, they don't have the money to play it, which is unfortunate. They don't have a PC, so it's people who are really having to have like newer things play the game. Think about all of the kids who are growing up right now who are having access to all of that. So this is like a new game for them. It's a free to play game for them. It's a free to play game that they could talk about at school, which will, you know, hopefully get the game to get a little bit more popular, which I think happened with Fortnite and Apex Legends and all that. Facts, it does draw that adrenaline the whole match. In most games, you're either a super good team or bad team in finals. Doesn't matter the skill gap. Every team has a chance, and that's the one thing I want to say is that like sometimes random things can happen. You can get griefed by a third party and still get a cash out, and that's why I always say give it your best shot, because like you really have to ultimately always try, because at the very last minute you can break into this like situation where you'll win, and like I think it's fun. And like I felt whenever I was first playing the game that wasn't the case, but now with them adding more gadgets, which will now just diversify the gameplay. And I mean, especially if they added these gadgets, they're maybe adding new ones for the next season in the next 2 months. That's promising, you know what I mean? Because we might get some really good stuff from them. So it's just exciting. They have like a really good future. So I will say that the way that they've done the maps in the game, they've done them well, and the varieties and variations they have on the map are also really well. That's the thing, is that there's not just one map. There's one map, and then the variations on that map, which is impressive. Like, what other game is doing variations on maps? Like, people complain about wanting something different. Well, you're getting something different, but the variation is very subtle. You know, it might be the day, it might be, or like on some of the maps, they used to have the guns that used to shoot at you. I think they took those away. That was really interesting. I also think they should add those modes that happen, the live events, the 2-minute live events that happen. I think they should happen longer and more frequently, because those I think are really fun and kind of unique in their own way. But as I played the game now, they kind of just like, they don't really add too much. You know what I mean? And it's like, maybe to a new player, it's like, yeah. But I think overall, they could really make an impact if they just maybe add one more variation of it earlier in the game versus having it, I feel, so late in the game. And sometimes I feel like they're like not even noticeable. You know what I mean? So it's just one thing that I think would be interesting if they kind of tweak that, because that's another unique factor of the game as well. So as far as the pros, you know, the community is goofy, fun. You know, except you do get a random troll every now and then, but most of the community that I've interacted with and had a good time with, they've all like been really, really nice, positive, fun people. And so I think that's awesome to have a community like that, especially I'm just, you know, proximity chatting in the game, voice chatting, whatever, and people are just responding back. Some people don't have them on at all. But I've had like a really good time overall compared to other games. I've gotten into so many other online multiplayer games, FPS games, where complete opposite. You can't talk to people. They just will try to belittle you and so forth. So that is another plus for this game as well. And then I think the custom games is like one of the last pros that I had thought of for the game, was just the fact that they have such a unique game and concept. And so now allowing people and creators to create their own modes, basically modding their game and seeing, okay, what is working? What are people wanting in the game? will give them the ability to maybe push into features, modes, things like that in the future, which I think is really, really important for a lot of games. And that's why a lot of games that do well for a while allow and have mods like Minecraft, Roblox. They have those things that allow players to customize it in the ways that they want, or even TF2 for a great example. Team Fortress 2, that game's been around for a long time. It's because of mods and stuff. So I think if they can maybe not get into mods, but get into a place where they're giving it more sandboxy type of feel, in the sense where you could just make your own custom game, even with like 4 people, maybe not 6. 4 would be, I think, a little bit more obtainable for people. And even adding maybe a replay system and cinematic system could be really, really awesome, especially for shareability on the internet. You know what I mean? I think that's one big part of the finals, is that they like don't have a lot of shareable content, other than just like the gunplay. And I feel like the gunplay that I see is all fairly the same, with all the same gadgets and so on and so forth. So that's why I push into those other builds, like fire builds, sword only builds, melee only builds, 0 damage builds, just because it's like super, super unique. Just in the sense that you have to, kind of think outside the box and play a different play style and just kind of do some different things. Now, let's just get on to a couple of the cons for the video. I think after talking about ranked definitely needs a little bit of tweaking from a casual perspective. I feel like I'm playing against really high level players often, and it's probably the time that I'm playing, and it doesn't have enough people playing ranked. Maybe there's just more ways to encourage people to play ranked where it's not as bad. I know people have talked about cheaters and hackers, so being able to, I think, push outside of having those security issues with cheaters and hackers, if they could fix that issue and nip that in the butt, that'll make the game substantially better for a lot of people. I'll also say this, that whenever I played ranked, I've had issues just because, one, I play solo queue, so you do run into those problems a lot. And that's just because people don't communicate, and it's hard whenever you do play against a team where you're like, you don't know if they're hacking or not, because like their coordination's really good. They could have really good comms, but then sometimes you don't know. It's just like one of those things where letting the barrier of like knowing being more obvious will be good, because then the player can know that they're not just being cheated on and then they don't want to quit, because some people probably aren't. Some people are just really good and they're getting destroyed, and then they just leave because they think the person's cheating, which is unfortunate. Another con, I think they can definitely market the game more. There's definitely more marketing that they could put into the game. Their content strategy, marketing strategy hasn't been the biggest, but I also think they're cooking in the background. I think they're really planning on like bringing some lore to us, and I mean they're kind of trickling it in here and there. I mean, they're doing it pretty frequently, every 2 weeks, and that's pretty often. A lot of games don't update every 2 weeks, you know what I mean? And the fact that like things are still so smooth after they do updates every so often, these bigger updates every 2 weeks, it's really that's good. They're doing a great job. Devs are doing a great job. Round of applause for the Embark devs, because y'all do a great job. I mean it. So, and I don't know much about being a dev. I just know that it's a hard job and there's a lot that goes into it. So definitely keep it up. I definitely think listening to the community like they have been has been super important. The only thing is I just think the hate in the community is just so loud for the game, because there's a lot of complainers and people who are just bad at the game who just aren't good. And I think it's a skill issue. As as the finals have put out, I think it is a skill issue, because some people are just so competitive, and then other people who aren't competitive, there's not really any room for them other than just like quick cash and power shift, and they want more. I'm kind of a casual player. I want more. And if they do that, maybe they'll have a bigger casual audience. But right now, I think they're definitely more of a competitive audience currently. But I think that also just kind of boils down to a lot of different things. So with that being said, what is my ranking overall for the finals? I would have to say I would rank the finals with its longevity in mind, not in its current state. I would say my ranking is a 9 out of 10. Yes, that's really high. I know. You don't have to ridicule me. Calm down. I say it's a 9 out of 10 because of all of those cons and pros. Whenever you weigh them against each other, the pros are just, I think, better in my opinion. I think the community's doing some great things. I think it's just a matter of time and patience and just letting the game grow and become bigger than what we think it'll ever become, and just having faith in that, and just playing and having fun, and just enjoying the game for what it is, the game show, free-to-play finals game, you know what I mean? But yeah, other than that basically wraps it up today, y'all. That was the video. I didn't do an actual full stream today just because I wanted to make this different style video where I'm just chatting with you and talking about the game and stuff. And it was super fun having Kit and Seth tune in, as well as Vincent, you know, as well as Raul earlier. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and having a great day. I think the game will do some fantastic things moving forward in the future. And if you guys think otherwise, let me know in the comments. Remember to always give it your absolute best shot. And if you want to watch some more content from me, go check out some videos on my channel. I have some shorts, some other live stream VODs that are up, as well as some funny videos. Go check them out, and I will see you guys at the custom game tonight at 7 p.m. on Crimson Stream, as well as being back streaming next Tuesday at 11 a.m. And I got a surprise for y'all. 11 a.m. CST, just for y'all know. I got a surprise, so definitely tune in for that. I hope y'all have a fantastic day, and I will see ya. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great day. Hey, hey, hey. That's what they say. Hey, 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 hey.